Let's start to look at how to open the pelvic inlet. That is where baby's going into the pelvis. So get your birth ball. We're going to try some poses out. So the way to open the inlet is through a couple movements. We're going to do external rotation. So not just at my knees and toes. I really am trying to open. I'm rolling the inner thigh out. So I'm opening externally. That's going to help open the inlet. We're also going to look at what we call counter-nutation. So your sacrum has some mobility. And when the top of the sacrum is tipping into the pelvic inlet, that's actually decreasing space. So you can think about how your tailbone flares back. That's going to be nutation. So we're looking for the opposite. Counter-nutation is where the tailbone is tucking under and the top of the sacrum moves back. So let's examine that here on a birth ball. So I'm just going to start with my hands on my hips. So I'm pretty neutral. And then I'm going to tuck my tail, feel my lower back elongate, and that is that counter-nutation. I'm making more room at the top. So you can take little rocks back and forth. I'm not overdoing the tipping forward. I'm coming neutral and then rocking back, and I'm keeping my legs externally rotated. You could also do some big hip circles. That can help baby into the inlet. Love how this feels on my back. All right, let's get down to the floor and look at a few other poses. So a classic pose you probably see in so many yoga studios and so many prenatal classes is Baddha Konasana, bound angle. So here's a really big externally rotated pose. You can just visualize how the pelvis with the legs turned out externally rotating. I'm always encouraging people to sit on some sort of padding because what we don't want is to slump. Even though I did say that tail tucked under can help that counter-nutation, we're not looking for that right here. We're still sitting pretty neutral and relaxing. Good, as best as one can in labor. Another thing we can do is look at hip extension. So I'm going to grab some blocks for that. So when we think of hip extension, it's my leg moving past neutral. So what a lot of people end up doing is arching. So now it's actually just lumbar extension, but I'm really trying to get the front of my hips. So I'm going to find that external rotation again. So I'll have toes in, knees out. Then I'll show from the side. I'm using my blocks. You might want to actually use a birth ball during labor or leaning on a bed. So instead of knees wide in a big arch, I'm going to think pubis up, tail down. There I'm getting that counter-nutation again. So tail down, pubis up, and I'm just rocking back and forth. You can imagine if I had my birth ball in front of me or I was on all fours on a bed with the bed up. So I'm getting that tail under, opening the front. So I'm trying to open up the psoas and elongate the lower back. That's great for the inlet. I have a couple others. Now we're going to get down onto the floor. It's going to be great for those that maybe you have an epidural or you're tired, but we still have to think about how we open the pelvis. Because whether you're medicated or not, baby's still taking that journey, that rotation through the pelvis. So we still need to make all the different shapes to help baby find its way. All right, some people use a peanut ball. I don't have a peanut ball at home, but I have a big body pillow. And what I love about pulling out the body pillow is because a lot of people don't have peanut balls. So you can see how you can take things that you have at home and bring them into your labor prep or actually your labor. All right, I'm gonna grab my body pillow. So now I'm going to use my body pillow. Some people have a peanut ball at home or in a hospital. And what that looks like, it's a big inflated ball that has two more bulbous parts at the end and a little bit more dip in the middle. So you can take a bunch of pillows or a body pillow if you don't have a peanut ball. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come into that wide external rotation with my knees opening from the body pillow or the peanut ball. All right, so I'm just going to simply come onto my side and wedge that pillow between my knees. So you can see I have that external rotation and I'm just hanging out here. Really good if you're tired, if you're medicated. Now I can add that hip extension. I love the name of this pose. I have no idea who came up with it. It's called Flying Cowgirl. I have no idea why. All right, so now I'm taking my legs behind me. I'm careful not to overarch my back. I'm still thinking about my pubic bone lifting and my tailbone lengthening. So I'm in hip extension, not a back bend. And this is a great position that you can relax in and let the opening of the top of your pelvis be wider for baby to make its way through. So we're at the wall. This can be a great place for support. So we're going to bring the lower back against the wall, and that is going to help with that counter-nutation. So as I press my sacrum into the wall, I'm really pressing it back, that's pulling the top of the sacrum back and the tailbone forward, getting more of that opening of your inlet. You may also find, this comes from spinning babies, a lift and tuck, so you can bend your knees. Imagine I have a big belly, and during the contraction, I'm tucking that tail. Either myself or maybe a partner or doula is lifting and helping baby into that inlet. So I'm lifting right under the belly, scooping the tailbone, and you can do this for several contractions. And between the contractions, you can come up, you can rock your hips, you can just lean against the wall or your partner. And then the same thing, that contraction comes, little bend of your knees, scoop of the tail, lift and tuck. So that's the lift and tuck and the sacrum against the wall. So we've got a few poses. We went from standing to sitting on the ball, to sitting on the floor, to laying down. So if you are more active, you can be on your feet. If you're more tired or your legs need a break, you can sit on the ball. If you need a big rest, you get out your pillow or your peanut ball and you get that rest. All right, so the next video is going to be about opening your mid-pelvis. Stay tuned, follow for more tips.